In the sweltering summer of 1518, the people of Strasbourg, a bustling town along the Rhine River, were already grappling with the daily hardships of medieval life. The air was thick with dust and the pungent odor of the river. However, they were completely unprepared for the bizarre and chilling events that would soon unfold. It began with a single woman, Frau Trophia, who inexplicably stepped into the town square and began to dance. Her movements were neither graceful nor rhythmic. They were wild, erratic, and seemed to be driven by some unseen force. Initially, the townspeople watched in confusion and amusement, assuming that she might be performing some strange ritual or experiencing a temporary bout of madness. However, as hours turned into days, it became apparent that this was no ordinary dance. Frau Trophia danced without rest, her face contorted with a mixture of pain and desperation. Her body, drenched in sweat, seemed to move of its own accord, and she was unable to stop, even as her feet bled and her limbs grew weary. The townspeople grew increasingly concerned, and a crowd began to gather in the square, murmuring in disbelief. Within days, more people were struck by the same uncontrollable urge to dance. Men, women, and even children joined Frau Trophia, their bodies jerking and convulsing in a grotesque parody of a dance. The town square, once a place of commerce and community, became an eerie stage for the macabre spectacle. The local authorities were at a loss. Physicians and scholars were consulted, but their explanations were varied and often contradictory. Some believed the dancers were suffering from hot blood and that their only cure was to continue dancing until the fever burned out. Others suspected demonic possession or divine punishment. The clergy, fearing that the afflicted had angered Saint Vitus, the patron saint of dancers, erected a shrine in his honor and held solemn ceremonies to appease him. Despite these efforts, the dancing continued unabated. In a desperate bid to control the situation, the authorities hired musicians and professional dancers, hoping that organized movement and music might bring some relief. Instead, the music seemed to fuel the frenzy, and the number of dancers swelled to nearly 400. The consequences of the dancing plague were devastating. The afflicted, unable to eat, drink, or rest, grew increasingly weak and emaciated. Many collapsed from exhaustion, and some succumbed to heart attacks and strokes. The town square, once a lively hub of activity, became a scene of horror and despair, filled with the anguished cries of the dancers and the horrified gasps of onlookers. Families watched in helpless terror as their loved ones were consumed by the relentless dance. Children were orphaned, and spouses were left to mourn the loss of their partners. The townspeople, already struggling with the challenges of medieval life, were plunged into deeper despair by the inexplicable and uncontrollable plague that had befallen them. As the weeks turned into months, the dancing plague showed no signs of abating. The local authorities, desperate for a solution, turned to more extreme measures. They declared a state of emergency and ordered the dancers to be forcibly removed from the town square. The afflicted were taken to nearby chapels and monasteries, where they were subjected to harsh and often brutal treatments in an attempt to cure them of their condition. Despite these efforts, the dancing continued, spreading to neighboring towns and villages. The epidemic seemed unstoppable, and the people of Strasbourg were left to grapple with the horrifying reality that their lives might never return to normal. Centuries later, historians and scientists offered various explanations for the dancing plague, though none can be definitively proven. One theory suggests that the dancers were suffering from ergot poisoning, caused by consuming rye bread contaminated with a toxic mold. Ergot contains a chemical compound similar to LSD, which can induce hallucinations, convulsions, and other strange behaviors. Another theory posits that the dancing plague was a case of mass hysteria, triggered by the intense stress and fear experienced by the people of Strasbourg. The early 16th century was a time of great social and economic upheaval, marked by famine, disease, and religious conflict. In such a volatile environment, it is plausible that the collective anxiety of the community manifested in the form of a mass psychogenic illness. Despite these theories, the true cause of the dancing plague remains a mystery. What is certain, however, is the profound impact it had on the people of Strasbourg and the lasting legacy it left behind. As the summer of 1518 drew to a close, the dancing plague finally began to wane. The afflicted dancers, now mere shadows of their former selves, gradually regained control of their bodies. The town square, once a place of horror, slowly returned to normalcy. Life in Strasbourg resumed, but the memory of the dancing plague lingered in the minds of its inhabitants. The authorities, eager to prevent a recurrence of the epidemic, imposed strict measures to maintain public order and prevent the spread of mass hysteria. Public gatherings and festivities were heavily regulated, and the consumption of certain foods, particularly rye bread, was closely monitored. The dancing plague of 1518 left an indelible mark on the history of Strasbourg and the collective memory of Europe. It served as a stark reminder of the fragile nature of human health and the potential for unseen forces to wreak havoc on society. The event was chronicled by contemporaries and later historians, who marveled at the bizarre and inexplicable nature of the phenomenon. In the centuries that followed, the dancing plague became a subject of fascination and study for scholars and researchers. It inspired works of art, literature, and folklore, capturing the imagination of people across the world. The story of the dancing plague serves as a powerful testament to the enduring mysteries of the human mind and the complex interplay between physical and psychological health. The dancing plague of 1518 remains one of the most bizarre and unsettling episodes in human history. It defies easy explanation and continues to intrigue and perplex scholars to this day. The experience of the people of Strasbourg, caught in the grip of an uncontrollable and inexplicable affliction, serves as a poignant reminder of the vulnerability of the human condition and the enduring power of superstition and fear. As we reflect on this strange and haunting chapter in history, we are reminded of the importance of understanding and addressing the complex factors that contribute to public health and well-being. The dancing plague stands as a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the enduring quest for knowledge and understanding in the face of the unknown. I hope you found the details of this story as fascinating and unsettling as I did. You, mysterious, curious, intellectual, disturbed, beautiful people. My name is Penny Flick, with Kreep-ish. I look forward to sharing more of these stories that captivate and intrigue our minds, which can challenge our way of thinking. Comment on your thoughts below as I continue to uncover the mysteries of our history, true crime, paranormal, conspiracy, and cringe-worthy, creepy content. Until then, keep questioning, keep exploring, and remember that the truth is often stranger than fiction.